Let me go!
A 10-year battle is coming to a head on the northwest coast of Ireland. Shell are determined to bring a controversial gas pipeline ashore this summer to run through the village of Rossport. But opponents say they will go to any lengths to stop them.
I'm not a man to back down, no matter what. I never did and never will.
It's a battle that's being fought in the courtrooms and on the beaches, and it's left the community bitterly divided.
We won't get killed here yet. I can see it ending up very bad. Very bad.
Supporters of the project say the area needs jobs and the island needs gas. But locals who oppose it say the pipeline is dangerous and believe the presence of Shell threatens their whole way of life.
We're not opposed to the gas. We're opposed to the way Shell are doing it, putting it through a small community that has been here for generations. I mean, we were here a long time before Shell.
Willie Corduff has been fighting the pipeline route for nearly a decade. In 2005, he was jailed alongside 4 others for refusing to allow Shell onto his land. Now he's at the centre of a storm again. In April, with Shell back in town and preparing to bring the pipeline ashore, Willie climbed under a truck and refused to come out.
Listen, don't be talking to me now, look it. If you're not going to call the project off and everything, let you forget about Willie. Willie's too long now.
But allow me to take
Willie tried everything. Willie went as far as he could.
I want to do something to try and get it stopped before it's too late. So I thought, well, look, if I go back under this truck, can it move? We're not troublemakers. We don't want to be protesting. We're not activists, which we're being called. You know, but we have to now.
We have offered you medical assistance.
No, you haven't offered me medical assistance.
No,
you're only wanting to get me back there until you get me out of here. That's what you're wanting.
Right, okay.
I know what you want. I know you with 10 years, remember, and 10 years is a long time to be fooling with any fucker.
Later that night, Willie claims he was attacked by a group of men in balaclavas.
It was dark night. They were covered in balaclavas and dark clothes, and they struck me on the side of the head with a baton or with something and put me to the ground, and 4 of them knelt above me, pushing me into the ground. So my airways got blocked off, and I was literally, I thought they were going to kill me.
3 weeks later, and Willie was still bruised.
Oh, I was badly beaten, I was badly bruised. All my jaw was all swollen out like that, and then my face was turned.
Shell deny that Willie was assaulted by anyone working for the project. They say their staff and site were attacked by masked protesters on the same night. But the incident has increased the mood of fear and resentment of the security and police who guard the Shell site. At a furious emergency meeting, over 300 people heckled the Energy Minister who travelled from Dublin. Willie showed the ministers his bruises and vowed to stop Shell's work.
Well, if you don't stop the work tomorrow morning, bodies will stop for them. And
Locals are gathering for what are now weekly protests at the Shell site. And up in the hills, activists from across Ireland are preparing to help them tear down Shell's fences. Roadblocks scatter the rural lanes and the mood in the village is tense.
There's a few checkpoints, but I forgot to put a checkpoint up here.
How many's back there?
You see them up there? The Indians are here.
Together, the activists and local protesters head down to the focal point of this summer's battle. This is where Shell will be bringing ashore the pipeline.
You fucking wanker!
Shell still don't have permission for the onshore section of the pipe. Until that's decided, protesters say they should not be building anything above the shoreline.
Where are you fucking balaclavas there, you bastards?
Vincent McGrath is an Irish teacher and a well-known local musician. He's a spokesman for a protest group who believe they can still persuade Shell to compromise.
Out there in the Atlantic, 50 miles off the coast, is the Corb gas well. They propose to bring this raw gas pipeline through our village, close to our houses, to a refinery 5 miles inland, which is already built. It's not like the other gas pipelines that crisscross the country. This is unrefined raw gas at extraordinarily high pressures. So we are very concerned for our health and our safety.
Supporters of the gas project claim that they are a silent majority, with few willing to speak out.
The group of protesters do not represent the population of this area. We don't want to go back to the thatched houses, and we don't want to go back to the days of yore, the comely maidens dancing at the crossroads and all that kind of rubbish. That's romanticism, and that's dead. Bread and butter now. An opportunity for children to get an education and an opportunity for young people to get work. They're inviting in international and national troublemakers from all over Ireland and from the Europe and UK, and are coming in here to stir up trouble. We wouldn't see those people coming here in summertime when we're trying to harvest our crops. They're just coming to cause trouble. Basically, we don't need them and we don't want them.
But the protesters blame Shell for the presence of unwanted outsiders, and their fears grew when mysterious events on the other side of the world were linked back to the site. An Irish national, Michael Dwyer, and 2 Eastern Europeans were shot dead in Bolivia, accused by the government there of being part of a plot to kill the president, Evo Morales. Dwyer and at least one other member of the alleged plot had worked at the Shell site.
You don't know at night who's travelling the roads here. There's a double fear in this village. The first fear was the pipeline. Now the fear is how they'll put the pipeline in, at what extreme measures will they take to put in the pipeline, who will they hurt, who will be next to get a beating.
We believe that they are being courteous, that they are being restrained, and that they are behaving themselves in a very appropriate manner. We would like to be able to do our work in Mayo without the presence of any security guards. There are protesters, many of whom who come from outside the area, who are determined to try and frustrate and stop us. And therefore we require a security presence on our construction sites that is not usual on most building projects in Ireland.
The claims and counterclaims of intimidation and anger against those who've sold land to Shell have left the community traumatised and divided.
Sometimes I get phone calls, I've got phone calls, and we have been avoided by our friends previously.
It was a good village once, but now it's divided. Even as Shell pulled away in the morning and said they had enough around here, this village would never get back to the way it was, because there can be no harmony, no trust in this village ever again.
Rossport has been the victim of a larger battle. Ireland needs gas, the region needs jobs, and Shell, years behind schedule, need to push the pipeline through. But those who've held out for so long against Shell say that what is at stake here is worth more than the price of gas.
We're fighting for lots of things here in this community. We're fighting for health and safety, environment. We're also fighting for the freedom to live as we have lived. We see it as an occupation of our community. And history will tell you wherever there's occupation, there will be resistance.
Shell say they will bring the pipeline ashore. Rossport is braced for a showdown this summer.